Nigeria, its people and produce. My home is in Nigeria, and I want to show you how my people live and how we produce things to help you in other lands. In the north, the herdsmen and farmers work hard for their living, for in the dry season the water required for the animals and crops is very scarce and difficult to obtain. Using a shadoof such as this is a slow method and very tiring. But in some of our larger settlements we have dug wells and made the work simpler. One of our cash crops, and one which does not need much water, is groundnuts. But Nigeria is a land of contrast, for in the south it rains more often and the people are occupied in obtaining the products of the oil palm and in tending the cocoa plantations. Throughout Nigeria you can see many fine people, strong and hard-working even in this tropical climate. But as in many hot countries, we relax in the heat of the day. The chief mineral that we mine in Nigeria is tin. These tin deposits are alluvial and they are mined by the open cast method. As you can see, much of the work is done by hand. The climate of northern Nigeria is ideal for growing groundnuts. We work our own small plots, much as our fathers have done for centuries. Some of our tools may look primitive, but like farmers the world over, we are slow to change. After ploughing, there is much work for all the family in sowing the new crop, perhaps in a way you have not seen before. We use our feet, pushing the soil to one side, dropping in the seed and covering it up again. After 4 months, the crop is ready for harvesting. The whole plant is pulled out of the ground because the nuts on the lower stems have formed beneath the soft sandy soil. That is why we call them groundnuts. The plant, with the nuts still attached, is taken to a compound and stacked. Leaving it here is safer than out in the open fields. These simple tools are used for threshing, removing the nuts from the plant. Then the women take over. Their job is the hard and monotonous one of pounding the nuts in mortars to break up the husks. To separate husks from nuts, we use the wind. This is an old way and a simple way, but for small farmers, it does the job well. It is called winnowing. Now a final shake to make sure the nuts are quite clean, because the cleaner the nuts, the better the price when we get to market. The harvest is over, and that part of the crop which we do not need for our own food is made ready for sale. The official opening of the groundnut market is in November, and soon the traffic on the roads is very busy as all sorts of people with their goods head for town. For many people with things to sell, the end of the hot, dusty journey is their arrival at Kano, chief city and market center of the north. It is an ancient city where traders have met for centuries. The great sun-baked walls were built by the Hausa tribesmen to defend their capital. Today, Kano is still the busiest place of the north, and the market the center of it all. Here you can buy most of the necessities and small pleasures in life. But first, the crop must be sold to the merchants. The leaves and stalks of the plant can be sold for fodder, but those who deal in groundnuts use a special part of the market. The price paid for the nuts is fixed by the government, but the sacks must be weighed and the contents examined for quality. So now the farmer's work is done and he has money to spend. His needs are simple and he knows what he wants, maybe matches or soap. But the thing is to make sure by friendly bargaining that the price he pays is fair. It is also an opportunity for a haircut or, if you wish, a visit to the races. Yes, for some it has been a day out, but for others the work is only just beginning. From the market centers, the sacks of groundnuts are taken to the railhead in lorries. The railway from Kano is a single track, so the sacks are piled up in great pyramids to await transport. Kano bags, as these are called, are very heavy, yet the porters load the trains at great speed for the long journey south to the coast. In southern Nigeria, where the rainfall is heavy, one of our largest crops is cocoa. Cocoa trees are evergreen, and the pods grow on the trunk and main boughs only. To cut the pods from the top of the tree, we use a knife on the end of a long pole. Then the pods are slashed open and the beans removed. For about 6 days they are allowed to ferment before being spread out to dry. To give you an idea of the size of our crop, Britain obtains nearly half its cocoa from us in Nigeria. The other valuable products in the south are palm oil and palm kernels. These tall trees are the oil palms growing wild in the vast tropical forests. The fruit heads grow at the top of the trunk, often beyond the reach of a ladder, but the pickers are skilled climbers and reach the fruit with the aid of a sling made from the rib of a palm leaf. One tree may produce a dozen heads of fruit each year, and a single fruit head can weigh 60 pounds. Now the small palm fruits have to be chopped from the fruit head. They have a soft, fleshy outer covering from which we extract the valuable palm oil by boiling in large jars. Some of the oil is exported, but my people use much of it for cooking purposes and for making soap. When the outer covering has gone, we are left with the palm kernels in their hard shells, which, if spread out to dry, will keep for a long time. Special machines are now being used in some places to crack the shells, but many people still obtain palm kernels in the old way, cracking the shells by hand. So you see we get two products from the oil palm tree, palm oil and palm kernels. But we have no machinery for extracting oil from the kernels, so they are exported for treatment. Our capital is Lagos, the largest port on the coast of West Africa, where most of our products are loaded for shipment to other countries. Tin and cocoa, groundnuts and palm kernels, these are the products of my people in Nigeria, cargoes which are valuable both to you and to us.